longer here for a crafty update. I know it's been a while. I believe my last crafty update was in June, and it has actually been on my to-do list to do this for probably a month now, and for some reason other things just keep getting in the way. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll find something or see something that you like and inspires you to pull out your crafts. And if you've been with me before and you're returning, I appreciate you coming back, and I appreciate all the comments, and it's nice to meet stitchy friends and be able to talk about the things we love to do when we're not doing life stuff. I'm going to start out today as usual with cross stitch. The first thing I'm going to share is Mini Deer Creek. If you've been with me for a while, you know that Mini Deer Creek is a piece that I'm doing with the intention of gifting it to my father-in-law, and I have decided that I would really like to gift it to him for this year, Christmas. And so I have really been focusing on that this year. Just a second, I need to reach over here and grab something. According to Pattern Keeper, which is the best thing since sliced bread, I believe I am almost at 86. It says 85.9% complete. And I should have done some math, and maybe I'll do it and put it in when I edit, as to how many stitches I've put in since June when I showed you last. I will put a picture over here of where I was last time I shared it with you. I have made significant progress. I am not entirely sure that I'm going to make my original goal, which was to have it done by November 1st. That would require me to put in about 300 stitches a day, like 289. And there are a lot of days in the week where that's just not possible. I'm still going to push and try to do the best I can, but to be honest, when I set the goal for November 1st, I purposely set it at November 1st when I really think I probably could push it as far back as November 15th or 20th. I just want to be able to have sufficient time to get it framed, because I am going to have this professionally framed. So here is where it is now. This is, again, Mini Deer Creek, charted by Hayde. Artwork is by Donna Gelsinger. I've been kind of trying to fill in down here and work my way across. But every once in a while I find myself over here, because I'll have a thread that I'll use, you know, for 4 or 5 stitches, and then instead of taking it off the needle, I'll be like, well, where else is that? Is it somewhere else I can throw it in there and kind of just use it up? And so that's what I do. But every time I look at this, I am just amazed, especially when I look at it from across the room, at how lifelike it seems. So I'm really excited that this is coming along. And again, I do hope that I will be able to have it done no later than the middle of November in order to take it and have it framed so that I can gift it to him for Christmas. So that's been my main focus. I have done a couple of other things. I don't think I showed this because I think that this would have been July. I am doing WhipGo. Jessie Marie does stuffs. WhipGo group that she runs. And so I am... Mini Deer Creek was on my WhipGo board a couple of times, but there are also other things that are on there that right now aren't really getting very much attention. But we went camping in July, and I took I think it's In Full Bloom. I keep wanting to call it Bloom Where You're Planted, because that's what the text on the piece says, but I believe the pattern is called Bloom Where You're Planted. Sorry for the rustling. I believe this is a pattern by Her name is escaping me. I should know it off the top of my head. Emma Congdon. And I got this out of a cross stitcher magazine, but it may be in one of her other books or available some other space. Here's where it would have been the last time you would have seen it. And honestly, I don't even remember what I worked on, but obviously I left off on this part of the B because that's where my thread is. There's just something about this piece that I just really like. The bright colors, it's just so happy. So I did work on this. Whatever the goal was for Whip Go, probably 500 stitches. And I did that while we were camping. This is a great piece to take with me camping because it's not very big. And I can use my lap stand to hold this one. So this may not get any more attention this year because by the time I get done with Mini Deer Creek, I'm going to have to probably play catch up on some Whip Go goals, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And that's fine. It will be going on my Whip Go board next year to just keep picking away at it. I don't have any specific plans for that other than to hang it up somewhere for myself. Another, excuse me, another thing that was on my Whip Go board was to make 3 ornaments. I like to make ornaments every year to give to my 2 nieces and my son's girlfriend, who is now actually his fiance. A little bit of life news. My son got engaged. And so this year I had decided I was going to do a pattern. It's a snowflake pattern, and I believe it was last year's Flossmas pattern that was featured on Caroline Off the Grid Needle Arts Flossmas, and the pattern itself was written by Patty from 4 Boys and an NL Girl, if I'm not mistaken. So I did one of these in June, July when we were camping. And then 2 weekends ago we went camping again. And because I didn't want to take Mini Deer Creek for a short 2.5 day camping trip, I took the stuff and I did 2 more. You can't see them. Come on, focus. You can't see them on here, but I did embellish the pattern just a little bit. These 4 points, and then in the center I did add some beads just for a little bit of bling. I'm not sure that they're going to show up ever, even on the Christmas tree, but I added them. And so all I have to do now is fully finish these 3 ornaments so that I can gift those. So that's really all that I've worked on in terms of stitching. My Whip Go board, I did mention. Here's my Whip Go board. And you can see that I do have a couple of bingos already. Woohoo! And I have a couple of things like this right here, which was 500 stitches on Mini Deer Creek. I went ahead and counted it since I've put in several thousand. And down here, like ornament 3, that number hasn't been called, but that is obviously finished. So the items I have left on here, I have 2 squares that say Glory of Autumn, 500 stitches each. So at some point I need to add 1,000 stitches to Glory of Autumn. Miss Bingley's Library is supposed to get 500 stitches, and Pandemic is supposed to get 500 stitches. I am going to be leaving next Sunday, and I'm going to be camping for 2 weeks. There's a campground in the town where I work. It's actually a resort campground, and my parents have a membership there. And when they purchased their membership, they actually purchased the family membership, so I can go there also. And my mom is going to come up and camp for 2 weeks. So I am going to go and camp for 2 weeks also. I'm taking my own camper. I will be in my own space, but I'll hang out with my mom when I'm not working because I am still going to go to work. I took a couple of days off one day each week that I'm there. But other than that, I still have to go to work. It's nice though, because it's a shorter commute than what I'm used to. So anyway, when I go camping for the 2-week period, I am going to take Mini Deer Creek because I don't think I can afford to just not touch it for 2 weeks. But I am also taking Miss Bingley's Library and Pandemic with me because I know there will be times when I will end up hanging out in my mom's camper. And I'm not going to want to take Mini Deer Creek. Well, first of all, I'm not going to want to haul my Lowry stand over there and all that stuff. Miss Bingley's Library, I know that I'm working on the house. And it's just fill in. And Pandemic is just one color of thread. So I think both of those, I'm hoping that I can get the 500 stitches on both of those, along with some good progress on Mini Deer Creek while I'm gone camping. But we'll see. The only other thing that's on here besides Glory of Autumn and the 2 that I've told you about, Sunlight Sonata was block 22, which was called in September. And it was called, but I have not completed it. And that required 500 stitches as well. My thought process is this: get Mini Deer Creek done. Beginning to middle of November, that should leave me, theoretically, a month and a half to get 500 stitches or into Sunlight Sonata and 1,000 stitches into Glory of Autumn, which should be about the equivalent of 3 weekends worth of work at most. So I should have plenty of time to still finish those goals. And then I was thinking the other day that I should start thinking about next year's WhipGo board, because I do enjoy WhipGo, just a little something to spur me on, maybe force me to change up what I'm working on. So I do enjoy that. I'm really appreciative that Jessie does that group and puts the effort into it that she does, especially with a little one at home. So I think that, oh no, it doesn't cover stitching. I guess we'll talk about what I've purchased in the area of stitching. I haven't purchased much. You know, typical DMC or whatever. I have purchased a couple of patterns. Sorry. I have purchased a couple of patterns and I will put the cover art here. I purchased the Loads of Fun pattern. I think that's hands-on design. Last time I showed you the laundry, the never ending cycle that I had fully finished, and I do have it hanging up over my washing machine. The Loads of Fun is the 3rd one in that series, and I actually do not want to do that particular one. I want to do the other one. The 3rd one says irony, the opposite of wrinkly, which I think is hilarious, especially since I do iron my clothes. And I really don't like the 3rd pattern, the whatever it was that I just said. I really don't like that 3rd pattern, but I purchased it because each of the patterns has a bonus pattern in it. And I think it's just words. I think it's wash, dry, fold, maybe. So my thought is that I would like to do the 3 words, like maybe one on top of each other, frame them all together, and then have the irony, the opposite of wrinkly, and I will have the 3 things hanging in my laundry room, which I know I promised a craft room tour a while ago and I still haven't done it. Maybe today, we'll see. My craft room's kind of a hot mess right now, but anyway. So I purchased that. As I mentioned, my son has gotten engaged, and oh, the other thing that's on my WhipGo board that I didn't tell you about. How did I miss that? The last block on my WhipGo board, block 25, says Jay's wedding piece, 500 stitches. This is a piece that I intend to do for one of my nieces. I was expecting that she would be engaged long before my son would be engaged, so that was kind of surprising. But we still anticipate that she will be engaged sometime soon. And so I was trying to be proactive and think ahead, and that's why I put that piece on there. Thinking I would get it started and I would, then pick away at it and I would have it done long before any wedding took place, and I wouldn't have to, you know, stress over it. So I also need to do that in the last month and a half of the year. But again, I don't anticipate that that will be difficult. Since my son has also gotten engaged, I ended up purchasing 2 patterns. So I'll show both of them here. I purchased 2 patterns off of Etsy that I intend to do, one for my son and his fiance and one for my niece and her fiance as probably wedding gifts. But I would like to get, I'll have to get the one started at least, and then I'll start the other one probably also, because that one, I think they're thinking July 1st of next year, my son. So that one's got to get done. Anyway, so I purchased those 2 patterns, and then I purchased another set of patterns that honestly is not my thing, in terms of it's not my style. It's not something that I would have picked on my own, and I have them up here right now. They are World of Warcraft characters or something. I don't know. I honestly don't know what they are. My husband came to me and he's like, look, I found this cross stitch pattern that's World of Warcraft. Isn't it cool? Sure. I mean, whatever. So anyway, my husband never wants me to stitch anything for him, but he seemed to really want this. So I purchased these patterns, and at some point I will do those. So those will probably go on the go board next year to be starts. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, I think that's all the stitching. So now let's move on to some knitting. First off, in knitting, I want to show off this absolutely gorgeous bag that my friend Jackie from Cross My Stitches made me. Isn't it so cute? I love it. And the inside has the same fabric as the bottom. I picked out the fabric and she made it for me. It's just so gorgeous. And the beautiful thing of it is that it's quite big, which I love, because I'm still working on the long line cardigan. I have made significant progress, but I'm still working on it. And this bag is big enough that I actually have I wound up the last skein of yarn the other day, and there's a partial ball on the bottom, and the sweater, which is starting to get pretty big. I could not really fit it in the bag I was using before. It was really too big. So anyway, here's a picture of what the long line cardigan is supposed to look like when it's finished. And I think I'm going to have to stand up for this. Here is where we are now. The body is finished. I made it all the way to the bottom and I have bound off. So I should have put this on a hanger. That would have made life easier. I am currently working on a sleeve, which it took me 3 tries to know that I was doing the sleeve right. We joke at work, I'm a librarian, for those of you who might not know. So I work in a library, and we joke that people don't read. We always say, oh, we should put a sign up. And then we go, oh, people don't read. They don't read signs. Well, sometimes that's true of me too. If I would have read the directions a little more carefully, I would have started the sleeves correctly on the first, not the 3rd try. But anyway, I am making progress. It is by far not perfect. There are some things, like for instance, there's a spot in the seam of the sleeve right here that looks like it has a hole. I don't know why. I didn't miss a stitch. I think it's just maybe the way I picked up the stitch. So I know that I'm going to have to go back through and on the underside do some things to try to fix some of those inconsistencies, we'll call them. But And I'm still praying that it truly will fit me when I'm done. But I still love this yarn. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous color. And I am making progress. So maybe I'll get to wear it yet this winter. Who knows? If you are from Michigan, then you already know the weather took a sharp turn for the cooler this last week or two. And if you're not from Michigan, you probably don't know that. But I'm telling you, it went from like 80s to like 50s, like pretty fast, overnight. I have several friends who have said, oh yeah, I'm turning on the furnace. And I'm like, oh no. My goal at my house is to attempt to make it till November 1st. This is my goal every year, and we hardly ever make it. It's usually probably the 20-something of October when we turn on the furnace. But I always try really hard to make it till November 1st. But I refuse to turn on the furnace before October 1st. And honestly, we still have windows open in this house. We just all keep putting... It's chilly in some parts of the house, but it is not cold. So, I don't know, we're all enjoying it. Anyway, I think that's all I had for knitting. I really would like to get this sweater done, not only because I really am hoping that I can wear it, but also because I've been working on this sweater pretty much monogamously for, I think, over a year. I do once in a while pick up the baby blanket I have going just because I pick it up. I would like to get that baby blanket finished, although I have no actual intention for the baby blanket. I'm just making it to make it, and maybe someday when somebody's having a baby, I'll give it to them as a gift. But the day that I went to Saginaw and met up with Harmony from Harmony Stitches, and she helped me figure out how to do the pickup stitches thing, which so glad she was willing to help me with that. I bought a couple of other things of yarn and a couple of other patterns, and I'd really like to start them, but I've been telling myself, no, there's no point in starting them because you don't have time to work on them because you're trying to work on this sweater. So hopefully, I'd like to say I'll have the sweater done by the next time I visit with you, which I'm tentatively hoping for mid-November. But it probably won't be. It'll probably be after Christmas. We'll see. Let's move on to quilting. And today is really as much sewing as it is quilting. This morning I actually finished the one project I'm going to show you. I have this thing. I've seen people use things like this as a project bag. That's where I first saw them. And somebody said, oh, it's a book. I think they called it a book bow, which I think is an actual like company name. It's meant to be a book sleeve. I made this one years ago to put my original iPad mini in. And then I traded in my iPad mini for my Kindle Fire that I needed in order to use Pattern Keeper. And it fits the Kindle Fire. You can see it's not quite tall enough, which is fine because in my stitchy chair, next to my stitchy chair is a small table with a basket on top. And in the basket, this sits like towards the back. And I have the cord, the charging cord, up through a little 3M thing that's meant to like hold your cables and stuff. So basically, this sits there. When I'm done stitching, I can just drop it in here and I can plug it in. It works great. So, to back up a little bit, last year at Christmas, I said I wanted a laptop sleeve. Well, nobody bought me one, which was fine. I understand that's probably something I should pick out for myself. So I spent some time searching around trying to find a laptop sleeve. And I found one and I purchased it and I got it and the laptop fit in it and it was a zippered one. It wouldn't zip. It was like if it had been just tiny bit taller, it would have worked. But it didn't. So I sent it back, and I never really tried again to find another one. And then the thought occurred to me that I could make basically this for my laptop. So that's what I did, and I finished it this morning. This is what I came up with. I was not really going off of a pattern, so let's keep that in mind, because I didn't have a pattern, and the measurements that the girl on the video gave were measurements to fit a book. So all in all, it works. The laptop fits, which I'll show you in a second. I do wish that I should have made it about a 1/2 inch taller. And actually, I originally intended this to be at the top, but I didn't think it through right, so it ended up on the bottom, and I guess it's fine. It's cute that way. So here's my laptop. One of my latest obsessions has been buying fun stickers and sticking on my laptop, because I also wanted a laptop skin, and I can't find one for this laptop. What kind of laptop is this? I think it's a Lenovo. Yes, it's a Lenovo. It's whatever my husband picked out for me. You know, he knew what I needed and wanted in terms of being able to do videos and stuff like that. So I couldn't find a laptop skin anyway, so I've ended up just picking out stickers from various places and putting them on there. Anyway, I don't take my laptop with me very often, but when I go camping next week and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, I am going to want to have it with me. And, you know, I realize it's not that far a walk from here to the camper, but I will probably just stick it in a tote bag to take it out there. And I just wanted something that would give it a little extra padding. So here it is with the laptop in it. You can see that it's just, like, I should have made it just a 1/2 inch or so inch taller. It would have been better. But this serves the purpose. It gives it just a little bit of extra padding. So when I stick it in a tote bag with other stuff, it's just not getting all banged up. So I was pretty proud of that. You know, it's not perfect. It will serve the purpose. And I'm pleased with how it turned out, considering that I'm not a very good seamstress, sewist, and, you know, I didn't have a true pattern. I also, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera. I also cut pieces, and I'm going to make an actual book cover out of this fabric. And I will probably try to finish that this afternoon. Really, it's probably halfway done, so it won't take me long to finish that. I kind of, when I first heard about them, I'm like, I don't know, is that something I really would ever use? But I do take my book with me to work, and I have a tote bag that I carry back and forth. And I do find myself trying to make sure that I'm not shoving something else in the bag and messing up the cover, so that might be useful. I made this book, Friends, super cute, and it's just, this is actually going to my sister-in-law, who saw this in the quilt shop and was like, oh, that's so cute, I want you to make that for me. I mean, we're both thinking ahead. Future grandchildren, you know, are probably several years away. But she purchased the panel, and then I made it. I'm quite pleased with how that turned out. And I actually think that this might be my kind of future go-to baby shower gift. I think the next time I'm in a quilt store, I'm going to look around and see if they have any cute ones and buy 2 or 3 just to have on hand, because I mean, it took me maybe an afternoon to whip that together. Pretty cute. And so then I also made, and I don't have it, if I have pictures I'll put them here, but I don't know as I have pictures. I made 2 other books that aren't quite like that, but they're similar. And I sent those to Alyssa from Stitching in the Cabin. If you watch one of their videos at the very end, you can see her holding them. Actually, I think she was reading out of one of them the other day when she showed Baby Splotch. So anyway, I tried my hand at that, and then I am determined to get this wall hanging done that I've been working on for forever. I'm pretty sure that I've shown you these panels before. There are 4 word panels. One says, music washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Another one says, music is love in search of a word. The third one says, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the minds, life to everything. And the fourth panel says, if music be the food of love, play on. And I bought these as a kit. Music Staff of Life. Basically you got the panel with the 4 word chunks and you had to cut it apart, and then this pattern actually had, sorry, took out a frame. The pattern had 6 different quilt square options you could choose from, and then you put them together. And I chose, like you can see, there was one option, the second option, third option, which is what I chose, fourth option, fifth option, sixth option is really cool, but wow, that's a lot of, can I get it to focus? Maybe, maybe not. Number 6 has a lot of corners to meet up, and that's where Katrina has trouble. So anyway, I had finished these panels a while back, and a couple of them had some corners that weren't meeting up. And so the other day I finally made myself pull this out and I fixed them. There's one of them in particular where it's not great, but it's also not awful. So, and then I've started putting the sashing in between. My next step is to put a row of sashing the long way across the top and then join the 2, so they will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's a border all the way around. And so that's my next step with this. So here's 1 and 2. I would love to think I might work on this yet today, but it probably won't happen. But I do feel good about the fact that I did finally force myself to get back to it, and when all was said and done, although I had to rip out the seam 2 or 3 times before I got it right, it really was just a matter of me being patient and doing that. Earlier this summer, I went and hung out with my mom for a couple of days while she was camping up in the Standish area, and we went to Tawas the one day, and we ended up going to a new quilt shop that she had heard about, and I did purchase this fat quarter, no, it's not a fat quarter bundle, this is a jelly roll, and I would take it off this thing, and it looks really bad because I did take it out and I got it all messed up. It doesn't look anywhere near as neat and tidy as it did when I bought it, but it's all blues, it's all reds and grays and blacks, which are kind of that's my color palette. That's my favorite. I love black and red and gray together. So anyway, this will be my next project, is to create a quilt using this jelly roll. My mom gave me a stack of books. I've narrowed it down to something out of one of these 3. Don't know which one yet. When we're camping, that's my goal, is for her and I to sit down and look through these and determine which one I'm actually going to do, and then I will start on it. I am really not a very good sewist. I don't like the word sewer. I think because when you look at it spelled out, it looks like sewer. But anyway, I struggle with sewing a straight line, which you'd think is pretty simple, but for me, maybe I just need more practice. I don't know. And getting corners to meet up is always a struggle. So I find that when I'm looking at quilt patterns as something that I might create, my number one thing I'm looking at is how many corners are there that I will have to try to match up. So anyway, I will be making a decision on that soon, and then hopefully that will be something I can start soon, because hopefully I'll have that wall hanging done. Sneak peek into my organization system. I really love these boxes. These are Snapware boxes. This one is the 11.2 quart, which is 15.5 by 11.5 by 5.6. So it's a little over 5.5 inches tall, 15.5 long, and 11.5 this way. I love them because the lids actually snap on, so you don't have to worry about if they tip over, something falling out. And I love that the lid has a handle, but the handle folds right down into the lid. So they stack really great. I have like 5 of them, and so I can stack them right up, and they fit in a little cubby I have in my room. So anyway, I love these boxes. If you're looking for a good organization box to put different things in, they're great for quilt projects because I can usually put the whole project in one box and then just pull it out as I need it. Anyway, that's sewing, I think. I think that's all. Paper crafting. Paper crafting. I feel like I should have so much more to show you in paper crafting because I actually have done some here and there. I did finish some Christmas cards. I don't know why I'm holding up the whole stack. Could just hold up one. They all say the same thing, Happy Holidays. They're very simple. I have 12 of these. I am not making all of my Christmas cards exactly like this. I have some ideas for some other ones that I would like to make. And I kind of thought that it'd be cool if I could get some of them made, or some pieces cut up and take with me when I'm camping to put them together, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I also have this problem. My eyes are bigger than, you know how they say your eyes are bigger than your stomach? I'm not sure how to translate that into my card making, but when I first started making cards, the demonstrator that I worked with most often, she said, if you're going to make one card, make 2. You might as well make 2. Because in order to make the base of a card, the base of the card, you basically take and cut an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in half. So you've got 2 cards. You might as well make 2 cards. If you're making one, you might as well make 2. Well, I always get all like, oh yeah, if I'm going to make one, I might as well make 50 or 25. So then I end up with all these pieces and parts started, but not finished. I mean, like, these are bases of cards that they still need stuff on the front. This one's a little further along. I actually put some eyelets thingies on there, brads, but it still needs something. I have all kinds of pieces, and I do this to myself all the time. So I end up with, I even have some little pieces cut out. I don't know why I do that to myself, but I do it all the time. I start and I make, and so then I need to like set aside a day where all I'm going to do is finish up what I've started. But as most of you probably know, we all have more ideas for things we want to do than what we actually have time to do. Let's talk books. I tried to go back and look at what I'd read since I last visited with you, and I've read approximately 19 books in that time. I'm not going to share all 19 with you today. I have picked 5 of my favorites to share with you. According to Goodreads, I have read 54 books this year towards my 70 book goal. So Goodreads says that I'm 77% complete in that goal, and honestly, I will probably finish another one today. I think I'm within about 2 hours of having my audiobook finished. So hopefully I'll finish that yet today. Of the 19 books that I've read over the past 2 or 3 months, these are the 5 that I enjoyed the most and wanted to share with you. The first one, Under the Tulip Tree by Michelle Shockley. This was an excellent book. I did listen to it on audio. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars on Goodreads. It was great. Number 2 is called The Second Life of Muriel West, and it was by Skenador. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This one was not Christian fiction. It was historical fiction. There was a little tiny bit of language, but for the most part, it was relatively clean. This was a 5-star read, or in my case, a 5-star listen. It was an excellent book. And it was definitely one of those books that made me go to Google and do a little bit of Googling to see, like, was this real? Did this really happen? And did you know that leprosy is still a disease that is around? It's not called leprosy anymore. But anyway, I mean, I always think of leprosy as something that happened in the biblical times, but it actually still exists. And of course, we know a lot more about it nowadays. But that's what this story was about. It was about a medical facility for lepers in, I want to say Alabama, Louisiana. It was down there somewhere. Anyway, it was an excellent book. Loved it. I also read The School for German Soldiers by Runyon. That was a really good story. I enjoyed that one a great deal. I listened to a book called Long Way Home by Lynn Austin. That one was another good one. Lynn Austin, I don't know as I've ever read a book by her that I did not like. And the last one I wanted to share with you was called The Nature of Fragile Things by Susan Meissner. Another 5-star listen. This is the second or third book I've read by Susan Meissner, and honestly, I don't know why I don't just go check out everything she wrote and read it, because I absolutely love her books. Love, love, love them. I don't know, she just has a way with telling a story. So anyway, currently listening to The Diamond Eye, I think it's called, by Kate Quinn. It's about a female Russian sniper. Like I said, I'm about 2 hours from the end of that one. So, and I have another one that is waiting in the wings for me to start, a Tracy Peterson book. So, just general miscellaneous stuff. I am still walking. Today will be 231 days straight that I have walked. I fully intended to get up and walk first thing this morning, but I don't know, I didn't feel very good this morning. It is Monday, September 26th. I don't think I said that. I had to work yesterday, so I have today off in lieu of yesterday. And I fully intended to get up, go walking, then come back and do a couple things and then do this video. And I didn't feel great this morning, and I don't know why. I don't know if something I ate yesterday was not sitting well or what. But, so, you know, it's like 12:35 right now. And I have not walked yet. It's kind of a rainy, windy day here, so I may very well treadmill it. I don't know. I hate to do that because I really don't enjoy the treadmill. And I don't like that when I treadmill, it's usually a mile, maybe a mile and a half. I can usually make myself do 2. Anything over 2 is like really hard because I don't enjoy it. And so I probably will get not very much mileage in today. I was part of the Map My Run, Map My Walk yearly challenge to walk 1,022 kilometers in the year 2022, which equates to like 600 and some miles. And about a week and a half ago, I got the email that said that I had completed that. So that's cool. My mileage is down from last year, but I think that's to be expected because part of last year I was still working from home, so that helped. If I have gotten a few new subscribers in the last month, and I'm not sure where you've all come from, but thank you. And if you came to me through someone else, please let me know so that I can give them a big old thank you. I have also discovered a few new of my own. Katrina T, and I will admit that it was her name that first caught my eye, but I ended up going back and binge watching all of her videos. She quilts and cross stitches. She hasn't made a video in a while, but I think life has just gotten busy. I do think she intends to come back. Stitching in the bluegrass I just discovered. There's a couple of new ones to me, probably not new to the rest of you. I do struggle with how to keep up with Flosstube and how to organize my Flosstube subscriptions. Maybe some of you have a better idea. So far, the only thing that I've come up with is a browser add-on called PocketTube, which I did download and I'm testing. My only problem is that it doesn't work the same on a device such as an iPad as it does on your computer. And I tend to watch 99% of my Flosstube via my iPad. The PocketTube does have an app for the iPad. I just haven't quite figured out how to... It's like a separate app from the YouTube app, and I haven't quite figured out how to work it. And I can't see how I can sync the two up so that I could make the changes on my computer version and have it sync up with the other version. I have to do some more playing with that. The only other option that I have found by doing some internet searches would be to organize my YouTube subscriptions through my RSS reader. I happen to use the Feedly app for that, and I do subscribe to several blogs and read them that way. So that might be an option as well. But if you have any good ideas for how you organize your YouTube subscriptions, I mean, because I subscribe to not only people who do Flosstube, but I have several card making, paper crafting people that I follow. I follow a few musicians, not too many, like 3 or 4. I think I ended up with 5 categories. I can't remember now what they were, but I really would like to have them separate. So like, oh, today I am interested in watching my card making people and not having to scroll through my list of over 100 subscriptions to figure out if they have any new videos. And I also would like to be able to organize my Flosstube, my actual Flosstube videos in such a way that I can see who has new videos. And we all have our favorites, right? Everybody has probably subscriptions to 50 or more Flosstubers, but of those 50, there are 5 or 10 that they are your must see. And if you know they have a video out, you want to see them. And then there are other people that, yes, I'd like to see them if I have time, but if I don't have enough time, those are the ones that I'm going to skip. I mean, we all have those. It's like anything in life. And I would really like to put those people at the top so that I know that they have a video at the top and I make sure that I get to those. And then, you know, when those are done, get to the rest. But I haven't found a good solution for that. So if you, I don't know what's going on with my hair. I have not found a good solution for that. So if you have a good solution, I would love to hear it. I do not like the watch later playlist thing because it just keeps playing and I can't figure out how to stop it from just moving on to the next video. I would like it to stop so that I can hit the like button and make a comment if I want to make a comment. And actually, I would love for it to stop. Let me make that comment, let me hit the like button, and also let me remove it from the watch later. I don't like having to go back later and go, well, I watched that one and that one and that one and remove them. It seems like too much work. And I tried creating my own playlist. Guess I need to try that again because I think any playlist will just autoplay and I don't want it to do that. I would appreciate any insights any of you might have into that. But I've rambled on far long enough and I need to get this off of my camera and into my computer and attempt to get it edited and maybe get back to some other projects. And I need to stitch yet today, and because I have the day off, I really would love to try to get 500 or 600 stitches put into Mini Deer Creek. I do hope I have tentatively put on my calendar to come back and visit with you all again in mid to late November. So until then, be crafting, everybody.